left side. Every seat by the window. I need the whole back of the bus. Everybody, move over. You too. Slide your feet over. Everything by this window. I need this. All these seats. Move over. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you. Look. He deserve an EGOT, he hot, colored like a peacock. Idiot, slapper, scrapper, mad rapper, D-dot. Bad dopper, clapper, bad rapper. 3 shots, lethal weapons, lethal injections throughout your T-top. JFK smiling down through the treetops. Like hold your head, my nigga, wait for the beat drop. Old niggas wagging fingers like it's bebop. Cowboys and girls whistling world like it's teapots. My pen to make your arm heavy G-shot. While your mom trolling steady on the G-cop. Lights up, mics up. Let's get these likes up. Good morning to you. Welcome back to This, That, and the Third. How are you guys doing today? I see the chat is already lighting up. We're going to have a smoker. Jerry Berry in the building. What's good? Mary Brown in the building. What's good? We running jewels already. We getting star jewels already. Appreciate you running these jewels. Good morning. Cam's in the building. Let's see what's going on, guys. My grandson saw me. He was not trying to go to school. I had to spend a little time with him. He was like, pop, right? It's a good morning, guys. Coffee, everything is going great. So we're just going to keep a good vibe going. I appreciate you guys locking in. All right? What's the word? This, that, and the third. GMT in the building. Chapo in the building. Toy. It's going to be an amazing day. It is going to be an amazing day. Sir Fresh Music. Rockin' music. All right, Bethany. Good morning. Guys, it's a great one. V Forbes, right? I'm going to struggle with this one. Sharon Dodd. I'm going with Sharon Dodd. Oh, Sharinda? Somebody can help me out. Sharinda, tell me how to pronounce that. Sharon Dodd. That's what I'm going with. Pretty Mimi in the building. What's good? Tiff, good morning. Miss Angie, Scorpio, Bing, Nikki, Jinxie, Babyface. What's poppin'? Richie's here. Richie locked in. We gonna get some daily Tupac. There's a lot going on with Pac. All right. Quad the Master. Positivity Bees. Guys, I'm making it happen. I'm making it work. Chris Man. All right. Sassy K, Tizzy. Miss Hum is in the building, tapping in. Jazzy One, Sheena, listen. Big Obi, Couch Potatoes. Oh, yeah, we lit. Done deal. I finally saw that. You bought the shirt. You sent me the picture. You sent it to me on Threads. Salute. I appreciate you. I'm going to post that later. Quickie Sticky, Intrepid Vixen with the jewels. Guys, I appreciate you guys tapping in. Izzy 2, Capricorn. Miss Rock Kitty's back. All things Tam. Oh, yeah, we got the whole fam. We having a generational run today. All right? Guys, listen. Maya Lee. Marcia Brown. Jen. I think we good, guys. Furry Productions. Guys, we're going to have a great show. It's truly locked in. Appreciate you guys locking in, running the jewels. Bethany running jewels. And for those that need a tutorial in running jewels, just ask the chat. The chat will tell you. The chat will tell you how to run those jewels. It's something with something and you do something else and voila, right? Guys, it's a lot going on. It is a lot going on. Autumn the Aries. Salute to Autumn the Aries running the jewels. Guys, this morning is going to be special. I don't know if you guys know what's going on. Let me lock in real quick. What's going on right now? It's a lot of paranoia going on in the music business. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention for the last couple of days, but there is a lot of noise about journalism and hip-hop media, right? There has been a big debate about this. Every single YouTuber has had this debate because of Akademiks, right? It has gotten so far. Guys, I'm going to share a little private information with you guys, right? I'm going to share a little private information. I'm not going to say a lot. But it's getting so crazy, guys. You know, my brother-in-law always tell you he's a Drake lover, right? He loves Drake. He's one of the biggest fans. He hit me. It broke my heart yesterday. He sent me a "What's the Dirt" video as proof that Jay-Z and the Dastardly Rock Nation. I was like, oh, they got to him. I told you guys, this stuff is getting bad, gang. It's spreading wild. Yeah. It's getting bad. That same "What's the Dirt" video that we've been debunking for days is spreading. And Akademiks is one of the ones making sure this propaganda spreads, guys. Now, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or not, but I'm gonna tell you what I did yesterday. I wrote some incendiary stuff, and they're getting a little in their feelings about it. But I pretty much said I don't care if Rocnation is funding lawsuits against Akademiks and Stake and Drake and this, that, and third. I'm like, for one, you've been throwing rocks high in your hands. You've been knocking Big Bone and Brolic for the better part of half a decade. You've been talking crazy about that company, and they finally are retaliating. So if you've been hitting them with a stick and they got a bigger stick and they start going after your ass, whoop-de-doo. You're not a victim. You're not a martyr. We don't care, right? And that infuriated the OVO acolytes over there, right? So they are coming. Oh, first it was he's paranoid. Now it's you guys don't care. Well, I never cared. Okay. But end of the day, what's going on is Akademiks is on a full on tear. But this is what he does. He has to stay relevant. And I understand the game. I understand what it is, the whole thing. Right. But some people feed into the nonsense, and Akademiks has called out, quote unquote, the media, hip hop media to some degree, and saying that you're not doing your job because you're not covering the retraction of sorts, right? So what had happened, what I've been covering this stuff since last year about the stake gambling lawsuits that have included Drake, Akademiks TV, which is George Wynn, the AKA Grand Wizard N-word, and the owner of Stake and Drake, right? And Aiden Ross is named in there too in some of these lawsuits. Now, they're on a full-on crash out because I don't know if you remember, Drake came out on his album Ice, man, right? And said the jig is up in reference to Jay-Z. He dropped some bars to Jay, light bars, a little tap on the cheek. Why? I don't remember. I don't know. But for whatever reason, he did that. Now, Jay-Z, rightfully so, came at the Roots picnic unexpectedly and decided to throw some jabs back. They've been subbing for 10 years, right? So a decade of Drake and Jay subbing each other. No big news, no big deal. This is par for the course. But for some reason, them bars hit hard. Them bars that Jay said in that Roots picnic hit so hard. Akademiks called off his napalm bomb attack on Charlemagne. He had a full-on napalm attack on Charlemagne. He orchestrated. He ordered Akademiks TV to go for a week straight to try to obliterate Charlemagne. When Jay-Z went on that stage at the Roots picnic, all bets were off. They stopped all the sandwiches they were making, all the Kool-Aid they was pouring. Everything stopped. We got to get Jay-Z. So that very night, for I don't know how many weeks straight, they focused all their attention on Jay-Z, and that's where it's been. Right? So at that point, they're trying to dredge up anything they can say to get Jay-Z off his pivot and once again establish that the dastardly Rock Nation will crumble, right? So that's been going on for a few weeks. Now, it's just, I already did a video that Drake is chaos. His whole side is chaos. So simultaneously, while that's going on, they're fighting lawsuits. There were 4 lawsuits in the United States against Drake, Stake, and the owner of Stake, Drake, Akademiks, and Akademiks TV. I'm gonna try to make the long story short. So while they were fighting those lawsuits, they're simultaneously trying to attack Jay-Z. Now, someone took it upon themselves to piece together that the dastardly Rock Nation is behind those frivolous lawsuits. So when they first came out and they first happened, people like myself were saying Akademiks was in trouble, right? We were saying that Drake, Akademiks, Aiden Ross, and Stake and the Grand Wizard were in a bit of trouble because they were being investigated for money laundering and illegal illegally pretending to gamble, all of which there's a lot of smoke and fire. There's a lot of evidence there, right? So when the lawsuits drop, and let me know how it sounds. Let me know how it sounds this morning. Salute the positively, Pepper Jones. When the lawsuits drop, rightfully so. Pseudo cute nerd in the building. Rightfully so, we all reported it on all sides of the spectrum. You have people like myself reporting it. You have people like Drake's accountant, which is Jay Roebuck. He's reporting it. It's all from different angles. Everybody reported it. It was a headline maker. It was big news. And so we started to report it because it was. Now, the cases we already knew, even in if you go back and watch my videos, I said the cases are flimsy because you can't really, most of the lawsuits against these gambling sites they don't go anywhere. They get dropped. I said that off the top, but we still reported the case. Okay, I need you guys to understand. So the cases were kind of wonky because the one that just got dropped in Virginia, which is the one he's making all the noise about, right? And they're going to say, Charles, you still talking about Virginia? It's more than that. Da, da, da. I got to lay it out for everybody. The case in Virginia that got dropped, one of the 4 cases got dropped. The other 2 got dropped before that. The one in the Virginia that got dropped, it was like between 7 and 8 defenders. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm around between 6 and 8. If it's 8, I think 7 of them never even played stake. And there is some speculation that these people were handpicked by Rocnation because they run a program for ex-offenders or offenders to get out of jail early, this, that, and the third, whatever it is. So some of the people in this thing, names were in that program that Rocnation sponsored. So they try to draw a link with that. They're saying, wait a minute, Rocnation is probably behind this lawsuit because it's too many connections. They're lining the dots up, this, that, and the third. So as that lawsuit was going to court, some of the stuff in it wasn't strong. It wasn't what they were saying was wrong. It was that the people that they put in the civil suit weren't good. They weren't good witnesses. So the judge terminated the case. Okay? It's not to say that they weren't doing it. It's not to say that they aren't money laundering. It's not to say that Stake doesn't have an app, a tipping feature in the app that they can send up to $100,000 unregulated, which can be used for money laundering, which they were accusing them of sending Akademiks TV, aka the Grand Wizard chat N-word. They were sending him money, and he was using that money to slander and fund smear campaigns and to bot Drake's music. That was the accusation. Okay? Now, when that lawsuit got terminated, not only did it get terminated, what's the dirt, right? Matthew, the guy from Canada that's always telling us that we're doing hip-hop wrong, right? We're doing the culture wrong, and that we're negative, this, that, and the third. He went and put together this expose showing connections of Rocnation with the lawsuit in Virginia, okay? Which is the video my brother sent me yesterday saying, see, it's FJZ forever, right? So what I'm saying is, Akademiks saw that video by What's the Dirt. And there are a lot of people that have broken down the video and debunked much of it in there. But they don't want to hear that. Now, that video triggered Akademiks. Akademiks went on a mission to say, where are you so-called media journalists, the respected ones, gang? So this is how we got here. This is how we got here. Akademiks watched the video. He got convinced, which he got radicalized, right? He was already radicalized, right? Indoctrinated. And he goes, all of it's performative though, guys. And I'm gonna get there. I'm not gonna spend all morning on Akademiks. But all of it's performative because he goes, where's the media? But he handpicks people that he already has problems with. He handpicks people that he's already clashed with in the past. And he handpicks people that he thinks are Drake haters to go and try to make a case that, okay, you're supposed to be media. When they peel back layers and they start saying who's credible, they name you. They name Lauren LaRosa. They name Mark Lamont Hill. And they name Rob Markman. So he goes, where are all you guys now? When the story is reversed and the trial is the case is dropped, you in the so-called hip-hop media now are silent. You were loud, you were big loud when it was reported, when it came out. Now that it's dropped, you have nothing to say. And you have nothing to say about the What's the Dirt video that connects Rocnation to this. Trumpet Vixen says, stop spending so much time on that. People got to hear this, and then we're gonna keep it moving. All right. So you're not replying to the updated information that What's the Dirt has provided. Where is your voice now? So then he calls out hip hop media as a whole, starts saying he does more journalism than all of them, because when he covers Lil Durk and this, that, and the third, he goes from the rooter to the tutor. And he goes and names Trap Lord Ross, of all things, and What's the Dirt as real journalists who follow stories correctly and truthfully. Okay? And he goes on a tirade of adding Rob, adding Lauren LaRosa, and adding Mark Lamont Hill. Now, Mark Lamont Hill responded. I didn't finish hearing his full response. Rob did a whole video and responded. I don't know what Lauren LaRosa has said as of yet. She might be responding today on the Breakfast Club. I don't know. But Lauren LaRosa is on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne, which makes her an enemy, right? I say all that to say that sparked a nationwide conversation about the state of hip-hop media. Now, gang, all of that happened in a couple of days, gang. It's a lot to digest. It's a lot to digest, okay? Now, a lot of it's both sides, and a lot of people have a lot to say. What I wrote on Twitter yesterday, I wrote this long diatribe. Right? Stay hydrated, guys. It's a lot going on. Richie, he hates Trap Lil Ross. Miss Rock Kitty said Axel lies all day long. What I did on my Twitter, I wrote this long diatribe about how Akademiks is reaping what he sows. Akademiks is the reason, not single-handedly, but almost, is very, very responsible for hip-hop media being what it is today. He took it, turned it into a idiotic, drunken bum in a basement, spewing nonsense into his computer mic with little to no research. And for a time, it was good. And at some point, they wanted, as a culture, and I couldn't understand. We all looked at it as entertainment, but Akademiks turned entertainment parody, right? What they were calling it, he was doing a satire. His satire ended up becoming news, right? Let's just keep it a buck. The same way Twitter became news, Akademiks became news, because he would be the first one to jump out there with a comment. Guys, you got to understand, I'm gonna be here for a little bit, because what the real journalists would do before they commented on stuff, they would get the full story. They would have to take some time, figure out the ins and outs, line up sources, do some recon, figure things out. Akademiks didn't have to do that. Because if he was wrong, oh, well, I was wrong. Akademiks would go within minutes or something. We live in a world where people want you to find out the killer within 5 minutes, guys. They want you to know the whole story. So what that leads to is people speculating. So Akademiks became the guy who had no trouble giving his voice and speculating on stuff that happened immediately. So you didn't have time to wait for Rob Marksman to get his whole article together and write it for whatever magazine he was working for, or go on MTV with the whole thing. Okay? It turned into, we need to know now. And Akademiks' voice was the first voice you heard, because any real journalist wouldn't comment. He turned it into, why aren't they talking? Why aren't they giving a comment? and Ak would be the first one to do so. So after a while, his satire turned into news because he would take news stories and put his own spin on it, gang. So now, after over a decade of Ak, he went to the everyday struggle every morning. They Monday through Friday, they came up. They had to have content, so they were always talking about stuff that was in real time. So it became we need comments in real time. We can't wait for the Jet magazine to come out next week, right? Stuff moves fast. So he not only gives his opinion, he does it in a very crass way. So after a while, you don't want this shirt and tie morning news shit no more. You want Akademiks half drunk off Henny giving you his opinion, and that's what people started to gravitate to. So now he wants to call on the real active journalists who actively put work into this, some of which you've gone to school to learn their craft the way it's supposed to be done. After he's clearly tainted this art, this I'm not gonna say art form, but this career, he's tainted what real journalists do. And people don't want that shirt and tie media training shit no more. They want academics type shit. And look at all the podcasters. All of them act like that. Right? They come in dressed however, they got fucking drink champs. Guys, you gotta understand what's going on. We watch shows called drink champs. We watch IRL streamers now. Dudes doing anything on stream. People don't want you to sit back and get all your sources and chase the story and follow the money. They don't care about that no more. These wild-ass speculations that Akademiks does is all they need. Richie said TLR made a whole documentary on my hood and falsely labeled some dudes as snitches. He was right about the snitching part, but he named the wrong people. Trap Lil Ross. He's talking about Trap Lil Ross. So what I'm saying is, we're looking at people like Trap Lil Ross as official beacons of news for our culture, when he only does stuff related to criminal activity, what rapper got shot, who did this, that, and the third. Right? Now, Akademiks coming out with this energy is disingenuous because you never treated this thing like pure journalism. It was sensationalism. You're the main culprit of running with sensational narratives. You and Akademiks TV have put out some of the worst narratives we've ever seen. Stuff you had to openly delete. You've had to openly come on and say, nah, right? I don't know if Akademiks remembers, but they ran a whole story. Now, people look at Akademiks TV as news because they perpetrate themselves to be. And he ran with a whole story, Akademiks TV. He ran with a whole story that Kendrick was bodying. Now, Akademiks himself had to come out and say, nah, I talked to somebody at Spotify. Them numbers are real, guys. Just FYI, the numbers are real. This is Akademiks saying that, guys. Akademiks himself said that. After Akademiks TV had already ran with the story that Kendrick was bodying, not like us, and this, that, and the third. So they've run with narratives that he's had to debunk himself. All right? Lisa Hickman, appreciate you for running those jewels. Everybody, support the channel. Run the jewels. We appreciate that. Sassy K, GMT Supreme, Tiffany Co, Couch Potatoes, running jewels, Capricorn Baby. Jinxie, I appreciate you running those jewels, okay? So listen. Now Akademiks, who created this monster, you got to understand, he's a very big part of it. Do you guys know Mark Lamont Hill couldn't work for a while? It got so bad, nobody really cared about his in-depth research. That's why he's on the Joe Budden podcast. That's why Lauren LaRosa is on Breakfast Club, because people don't want the in-depth journalist who's going to dig deep and take their time. They don't want that. So these people got to look for work on established podcasts that, for lack of a better word, delve into gossip and this, that, and the third. Let's just keep it a buck. Okay? So now, these people who Rob Markman is an accredited journalist. He's been on MTV and all kind of shit. Magazines, this, that, and the third. He had to start a YouTube channel to survive this shit. People want they want their news on YouTube. Right? So now as they shift and turn into whatever is the thing now, YouTubers and commentators on you got to cut up your shit and make shorts. They're adjusting with the times. Akademiks now want to point at them, which is all propaganda because he's only doing this for Drake. He's in service to Drake, and he challenged Rob Marksman. Show me, I'll give you $100,000 if you can prove that I get paid payola. Well, gang, somebody putting a chain that's probably worth $30,000 to $50,000 on your neck in front of the world. Well, I think people would consider that a gift and some payola. Okay? Just FYI, if you ever get into politics or something of that nature, and people say, you taking payola or what have you, and they got video of you getting a chain put on your neck by the person that you've been defending, that look like payola. And you already admitted to getting payola from Lil Baby's camp too. So we know there's a bunch of other payola down the road. We can clearly see it. When we look back, when we say, oh, that was payola, oh, that was payola, oh, that guy paid him, oh, that label paid him, right? So we already know what's going on. Now, what I was saying is people like Mark Lamont Hill, Lauren LaRosa, Rob Marksman, they do good work, solid work, but they still have to conform to the times. And they got to kind of dip their toe in the sensationalism to stay alive, okay? Because people want it to be a certain kind of way. Now, with that being said, he went on a rant. He'd been on a rant for 2-3 days saying that the Dastardly Rocnation has been after him, right? And the Carter just said he admitted Meek Mill label paid him too. But he salute the cousin Moni. Moni, chilling with Moni is saying that they're trying to scrub all the videos of him saying that, right? Because they so fair and balanced over there. Now, he picked on 3 people who his platform is way bigger than any of them. Complex named him the #1 media personality in the world, right? Complex named him #1 hip-hop media personality. So what do you need Mark Lamont Hill to report your news for? You're doing a good enough job for that on your own. Making a lot of noise at their expense, right? People are choosing sides, having these conversations, this, that, and the third. And I'm gonna end up on Chig Smooth soon. Talking about this media thing. Salute to Chigs. He reached out. So this is a whole thing where we're going with this. And people are choosing sides and they're taking notes and trying to figure out what's what. Everybody has an opinion. But to come at Mark Lamont Hill when you've already had issues with him, like Akademiks had severe, correct me if I'm wrong, Akademiks claims he was mad at Joe Budden for giving him life. He was like, Joe, why'd you give him life by giving him a job? I wanted him to die. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes my information, I be mixing shit up. Somebody in the chat, let me know if that was true. Because I vaguely remember Akademiks being mad at Joe Budden for bringing Mark Lamont Hill on the show because he wanted him out of here. He wanted him to die, career-wise. Okay? So now, you got to understand it's all propaganda because all the people that he named, he's had open beef with. They've labeled Rob Markman a Drake hater for no reason, right? He called him a Drake hater in his tweet 2 days ago. Are you a journalist or are you still a Drake hater? It's all trigger shit. It's to trigger that side. He's not talking to us, he's talking to them. And Lauren LaRosa, they can't stand her. So he called out 3 people that they can't stand. He didn't call nobody out that he likes. Right? So you got to understand it's all propaganda. It's smoke and mirrors. It's wag the doll. It's MAGA shit. All right? And you got to understand what you're dealing with. But some people are not going to look that deep. They're going to be like, F Jay-Z. He's running a propaganda scam. He's out here trying to take Akademiks and Drake out for no reason. He's trying to take out the boy. What'd he do to deserve? Well, he did a lot. Okay, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So all of that is part of this big conversation. And we're seeing in real time how a person could be so disingenuous with a smirk on their face and say stuff and lead hundreds of thousands of people to point the finger this way. And I said all that to say this. Akademiks claims that Drake swatted his house. After I said all of that, Akademiks claims, did I say Jay? I meant to say Jay-Z. I meant to say Jay-Z. I know I probably said Drake. I think I meant to say Jay-Z. Akademiks thinks that Jay-Z swatted his house. Okay? He thinks that Rocnation swatted his house and Drake's house. I think it was 2 days ago. He was in the middle of a stream talking about Jay-Z, the Dastardly Rocnation, and Desiree Perez once again. And the cops came to his house saying we got reports of shootings and this, that, and the third, which he's been swatted before. So all of that, this, that, and the third. And yes, Tiff, he called Lauren LaRosa a bitch last year. Akademiks. He's had problems with all the people that he named yesterday. Right? The day before yesterday. He had problems with all, and he's still going on a rant about these people 2 days straight. And I did a video on that. So he went off on all these people, claiming he got swatted, right? Saying they're not good journalists, which all of them have spoken on that story. I myself even did a video on the trial getting dropped. I have a video myself because I did videos saying when it happened, what the trial was about. But I also did a video saying that the case was dropped. So he's being disingenuous because everybody said it. But now he doesn't want you to talk about the case. He wants you to talk about Rocnation's involvement. And if you don't, you're not a credible news source. How much you want to chase? First of all, only person has any information about it is What's the Dirt. He made the video. No one's going to go around and check What's the Dirt. What's the Dirt do a bunch of hit pieces. What's the Dirt right now is actively trying to do a hit piece that Jay-Z has reference tracks. And from 2001 to 2003, some doofball in OVO is claiming that he got Jay-Z reference tracks. Okay? So, end of the day, What's the Dirt is in service to OVO. All of his quote unquote exposés are only trying to expose people who have problems with Drake. At that point, you're not a journalist. People cannot take you serious because if you were a real journalist, you wouldn't be investigating Steak and Drake in the first place. Ain't no videos about that from coming out from What's the Dirt, right? Because most of the stuff they said in the lawsuit is true. Most of the stuff you can verify because they do it on stream. Have the stuff they saw it on the streams. They saw Drake win 4 times more than the average person on Steak when he used the Steak specific apps. There is a video showing it. There is mad videos showing him winning 4 times more than everybody else. Rolling Stone already exposed it. But Akademiks didn't say shit about that. He wants to pick and choose. Guys, I could sit here all day. I cover this shit all year. But Akademiks wants to pick and choose what media says about what. So they get one story that What's the Dirt put together. Mind you, there's tons of stories. There's tons of stories. I just told Mike Drop Visuals does shit on Drake every week. Talking about shit like when he had the falling out with Baby King, when he learned Baby King was Dot's cousin, he went and got in Baby King's girl's DM. Shit like that. But they don't talk about that kind of shit. They want to make it like the guy's innocent. He does nothing all day. That's what Ak wants you to do. Okay? This is what Ak wants. He wants you to report and slant it that way. Guys. And when you don't, you're lazy journalism. This is where they're going. And now we got to the point where Akademiks is saying Jay-Z swatted his house and Drake's. He didn't say Jay-Z by name, but he insinuated that Rocnation did it. Guys, you got to understand how it's getting insane. And it's very paranoid but it's very calculated because they've been on a Rocnation kick since before Tory Lanez. But when Tory Lanez, when that whole thing happened, oh boy, it became Rocnation is the devil. And Jay-Z can do everything and do anything and move all mountains. And God forbid, Desiree Perez. They've been slandering that woman for years. I didn't know who she was till they started slandering her. Calling her a snitch and this, that, and the third. So let's keep it a buck. If they start swinging back and they got the means and they know don't nothing hurt these guys but their pockets. Don't nothing hurt them but their pockets, guys. You can't hurt Akademiks with words. Can't beat them. It's like trying to beat Charleston White with words. You can't beat him. You're not going to win. Because he's self-deprecating. He can't be embarrassed. He embarrasses himself. So you can't beat Akademiks with words. You can't slander him because he's just going to go live the next day and brush it off. Think about how many incidents Akademiks has just brushed off. The one with the kid, the one with the assault at his home. Akademiks just keeps working. Guys, you can't brush him off with accusations. Can't embarrass him because he don't stop. He just keeps going. Okay? So they were like, okay, let's just imagine. What do we do? Well, we know you guys are doing a lot of dirt, and they still haven't proved that Rocnation is involved in all the other ones. They just got some curious links to the Virginia one, right? Some law firm worked on this one, and they worked with Rocnation before, so that's the link, right? So they got one link to one of the cases. But what I said is, I don't care. You want us to care. You want us to demonize Lauren LaRosa, Rob Markman, and Mark Lamont Hill and call them lazy journalists because they won't cover what you want. So I don't care, Act. I hope they hit your ass with 20 more cases. How about that? Right? I don't care. And Richie hit it right on the head. They all doing shit. Akademiks, the problem with it is Act try to act like he not doing the shit too. He's doing it better than them. But they want to be victims, guys. They want to be martyrs. Oh my God, look what they're doing. They're swatting me. They're after me. They put me in a fake case. No, they put you in a real case. It just was it was a shoddy case because they didn't have all the eggs in a basket. But you guys really do pretend to gamble and you do get paid back for whatever you spend. You do have a stipend over there. You aren't losing money. All of that is true. They have the guy on stake propping, actively dumping money into Drake's thing. They on video. Guys, like this shit, I'm not even making this shit up. So almost everything in the lawsuit can be backed up with facts and videos. So no, you're doing what they said in there. It's a class action lawsuit. It's just the people that they put in there weren't credible and viable, so they shut the cases down. And the gambling sites make so much money, guys, they're not going nowhere. You're not going to hit them with these cases and somehow, some way shut them down, which is what they're trying to do. They're not, unless a real serious change happened in Washington Gate, the cases are not going nowhere anyway. Just keep it a buck. So on that note, I'm just leaving it at that. Ack is blaming these guys, but you got to understand the full story. This is a fight. It's a family feud against these people. It ain't that Ack is being targeted and Drake is being targeted unnecessarily. They've been doing the targeting and they finally got somebody to swing back. And that's what my point is. I don't care, Ack. Somebody finally swinging back. Take your lumps, eat your medicine. Don't go in here crying about this, that, and the third. And no, you got to understand, these streamers get swatted every day. All of streamers, not just Akademiks, not just Drake, all of them get swatted, guys. All of them. So it's not that all of a sudden Jay-Z in the middle of your rant is trying to swat you. To think that Jay-Z even thinks about act like that to swat him. You've been saying the same thing for years. Why would he need to swat you to stop it? You ain't do nothing but keep talking. So what did it accomplish? Nola Flav said, I wonder if he was getting paid by 6ix9ine back in the day. It's very possible. Very possible. So that's that. Ack is blaming Jay-Z for everything going on in his life. And he's trying to blame the media for not being fair and balanced when it comes to Drake and himself. That's what all this noise is about. Couch potatoes running jewels. But to that I say, bullocks, because you're part of this problem and you've made this bed you got to lay in it. Gang, I spent too long on that. I spent too long on that. All right, let's get to some more news. Right, let's get to some more news. Let's talk about this J. Cole tearing up. Now, I don't know if you know, but J. Cole teared up on stage. He got emotional, right? Emotional damage. Now, what they're saying is some of you quickly judged Cole when this story came out. I'm going to read what happened. Some of you quickly judged Cole, but they're saying there's more to that story. They're saying that he had a real reason to tear up. It wasn't for show. It wasn't to garner fan sympathy like a lot of people were saying at the time. They were saying it was over a Make-A-Wish kid. So some of you kind of, I believe Maul had an issue with it, right? Even though Maul, once again, all this stuff is political, guys. All of this stuff is political. Maul is upset with J. Cole because J. Cole ignored him last week. I think it was a week or two ago. Him and Rory and Maul went to the J. Cole show. They had front. They were in the bottom, right where J. Cole came out. Maul been talking spicy about Cole for the better of a year and some change. Like not nothing too crazy, but you know, he been talking spicy about Cole. Cole heard it because Cole hears everything, just like Drake. So it culminated, and he didn't go on their show. He went on everybody else's podcast. You would have thought he would have went to Rory and Maul. If I'm not mistaken, he did not go to Rory and Maul, which is the number one place for these rappers when they on a tour run. I mean, yeah, on the press run, right? So Maul was in the front row with Rory. I believe it was B. Dot got to Cole first. He dot Cole up. When Cole turned and saw Rory and Maul in the crowd, Rory said he locked eyes with him and he looked away and he kept going through the crowd, rapping with the mic, dapping up other fans, other people in the building. That was I reported on it. A lot of people didn't report on it, but I did. That was, Maul tried to play it off, and Rory tried to make a funny video about it. They tried to make it like, oh, ha ha. But I know for a fact it tore them up inside, that he did not acknowledge them in any kind of way. And he thought he made them feel insignificant. So that's why Maul came out livid that J. Cole seemingly shed tears while he was performing a song that's emotional. It's called Love Yours. Well, now the real reason has come out why J. Cole teared up. And I'm going to read that to you right now because people had issues with this. Here's the real reason why J. Cole got emotional during Love Yours performance by Aaron A. on HotNewHipHop.com. The story behind why J. Cole teared up on stage during Love Yours in Cincinnati might make you tear up as well. The criticism of J. Cole as late has been largely centered on nitpicking decisions he made 2 years ago during a rap beef he admittedly wanted nothing to do with. However, the fall off and everything that occurred after its release have indicated that he basically came to peace with online narratives. That includes criticism from media personalities like Maul, who accused him of being performative when he teared up on stage. Right? He was rapping Love Yours and he teared up. Well, it turns out that J. Cole wasn't just trying to win back public favor by his emotional performance. There was something that actually triggered those tears, and per Gotham Hip-Hop, this is what happens. It surrounds the story of Colin Griffin, a cancer patient he met through Make-A-Wish in 2017. All right? Let me continue. Colin's Make-A-Wish was to meet J. Cole, and when he passed away the next year, Cole was even mentioned in his obituary. Colin met Cole backstage at a show in D.C. and Dreamville took care of him with merch and the like. Cole even took the shoes off his feet and signed them for Colin, asking him to work hard to beat cancer. Colin told Cole that his music has been inspirational for him and it helped him get through this difficult time, to which Cole responded, "No, you inspired me." All right? Colin broke down into tears. Fast forward to Cole's Cleveland show over the weekend. Colin's family attended attended and held up pictures of him, which Cole called out right before performing "Love Yours." All right? So that is what happened. Let me get this up here. Let me get this shot up here real quick so you guys can see. But it was emotional for Cole. All right? Hold on. It was emotional for Cole. I want to get this up here so you guys can see the picture. What the heck? All right. I got it. Let me get this picture up here from Joey, Gotham Hip Hop. This is the image, right, of the situation. I need you guys to see this because it's important. I think that's Bass or Boss, right? Worthy said Cole is the most, Cole is cringe most of the time. All right. So here is the picture, and I'm gonna get to those comments in a minute. But this is reflective of just a little more insight. Joey from Gotham Hip Hop on Twitter. Today I learned that the reason J. Cole got emotional the other night performing "Love Yours" in the now viral clip was because of a kid named Colin Griffin, who he met in 2017 when Colin was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And as a lot of you know, I had stage 3 cancer, right? I beat it. I'm 10 years now, right? 10 years remiss. But some of those Drake guys on Twitter make no qualms about telling me they hope it comes back. I'm gonna keep it a buck. All right, it is what it is. Gang, they evil people. They're mean, right? But it is what it is. It happens. Some shit you just don't say to people, but it is what it is. Okay? So that's what it is. Furry B say, "Old cringe Cole." Guys, I can't even, I'm not even going, like, I have no dog in the fight with this story. I'm gonna let y'all have at it, right? I'm gonna let y'all have at it. It is what it is. Done Deal says salute that, right? Nola Flame said, "I was emotional and I wasn't even there. Empathy is the word." You gotta have, at some point, it is what it is, right? Chris Man said, "Imagine getting backlash for showing emotions." All right. Dot's favorite center says, "Okay, let's give Cole a pass. He's got a heart. That's sad. Let that man be." Bing said, "Yeah, if I hadn't heard the story, I'd be rolling my eyes. But that's why it's good to wait at least a little bit." Maul enjoys being wrong. Maul is really triggered, right? Maul is triggered. And I didn't even watch the video or whatever Maul said. That's one of the clips I just did not see. So I know whatever said, it was dumb. Maul says dumb shit every day. Is it just a donkey, gang? Just a mule, just a bull in a china shop. He really, I don't know if he really should even have a mic. Let's just be honest. Richie said, "I know this is not the first time he's heard a Make-A-Wish fan dying before, but now all of a sudden it's too much for him to bear. I don't know. I'm not buying it." Richie not buying it. Richie's not buying it. He thinks it's performative. Okay. Memphis said 2014 Forest Hill Drive still gets played over here. I think that's his best album, right? Chris Man said it's me who said emotional like Carl Thomas. Okay. So you guys have your different points of view, right? Couch Potatoes clapping it up for Remission. I thank you. I thank you. Gang, I'm strong, gang. I'm strong. Dots Fave said Maul is always wrong. That's why it's bad to follow Maul's takes. You're risking a lot. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Worthy said, "When isn't Maul triggered?" Right? Chris Man said, "Cut his mic off." Okay. Richie said, "I have no problem with people having a heart, but that just seemed fake." Okay. Beautiful Leo said Maul is no better than Ack. And Marcus Crosby dropping jewels. Appreciate you, Drew. Marcus dropping those jewels. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Tiff said, "I'm with you, Richie." Tiff ain't got, listen, Tiff and Richie, they're like Listen, I'm not buying what he's selling. They not buying it. All right? They not buying it whatsoever. They all set on these performative crocodile tears from J. Cole. Memphis said there's nothing wrong with what Cole did as long as it wasn't performative. All right, gang. Let's get to the next. Let's get to the next story. Do you guys know? I don't know if you know, but they're coming with some really serious stuff in that Lil Durk trial, guys. The trial starts, I believe, tomorrow. And they are saying there is some real problems with Durk's case as far as text messages that have been exposed for that Lil Durk allegedly sent during that time where this guy was attacked. Okay, and I'm going to read this because it's almost asinine. I know we getting these. I know we feel like these text messages are safe and private, and for the most part, they are. Right? For the most part, there are. But when you're involved in murder, allegedly, text messages ain't the best way to convey what you want to do. So this article is saying Lil Durk allegedly texted, "We got the location," weeks after King Von's death in regards to the people that were attacked. All right? And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Okay? Lil Durk trial begins on Thursday, which is today. So it begins today. It says we're only a day away from Lil Durk's murder for hire trial, and the fight for his freedom will be real. Over the past few months, we've heard several updates regarding the case from his lawyer and prosecutors, and frankly, nothing seems incredibly promising. That's especially true as evidence leaks online. Recently, Akademiks shared an alleged message that Lil Durk sent a text chain where he seemingly acknowledges knowing where Quando Rondo might be. Guys, this is bad for the prosecution to have this. Quote, "I'm not celebrating New Year's because my dog is dead and nobody is doing anything. Rondo out here acting like they don't have nothing to worry about, even though we got the location." That's what the message allegedly reads. Durk is charged with allegedly orchestrating and funding a retaliatory assassination that killed Quando Rondo's cousin, Lil Pub, right? Let me read that again. Screen went blank. Lil Pab, right? Lil Pab in Los Angeles. The prosecutors claimed that Durk's friend paid 5 associates to travel to California to commit the shooting and sent a text to his friend stating, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." It's not how you do this, gang. That's not stuff you text to people. Okay? That's not how you do this, right? And I guess Akademiks is beating on his chest because he's a journalist with this story. Okay? This is his journalistic skills right here. All right? Let me continue. CNI said Durk should have left this one alone. Well, they kept telling him, slide for Vaughn. They kept telling him in the comments. So that was enough, allegedly. He had to slide, guys. Couldn't let it go. Had to slide. Okay? You would think that people with a little bit of money would do things a little more better. They would be smarter and move differently and not get involved with stuff like this. But it happens. Let me continue. Prosecutors also alleged that Quando Rondo affiliates reportedly extended an olive branch in an attempt to make a peace offering. However, Durk reportedly rejected this. Quote, "I'm not hopping on the phone to squash blank. This for Thang and Vaughn." The court filing also says that he wrote, "Call me about peace. Take the piece of the switch." What's worse is that the switch in question was an alleged reference to the gun used in the crime. The prosecution would also be allowed to use Durk's music, specifically his song "Pissed Me Off" in court. Furthermore, there have been reports that interviews from WAC 100 and 6ix9ine with Akademiks might also enter the trial. That is insane. They got footage of WAC doing what WAC does, talking about other people's trials, and they're going to use it against them. Okay? Richie said, yeah, y'all pressure them to hit back. I ain't forget. This is on all of y'all. What Richie done said, somebody said Richie done let the cat out of the bag. I don't know what happened. I missed whatever Richie said in the chat. He always gives us some good info. Salute to Serenity Musings for becoming a member. Appreciate you. I'm putting some member stuff only up today. Today it's going to be a new members only video. Let me see what else is going on. And Serenity's running those jewels. All right. CNI said his whole crew snitching. All right. My name is my name. Saying the other times Cole was crying. What's going on? I didn't mean to get to that Cole one. We passed Cole. Hold on. Hold on. There was a lot of comments about J. Cole. I'm not going to get back into that. Durk and Pooh Shiesty are equally dumb. That's from Beautiful Leo. All right. Main Toe said amateur hour. It was a lot of nonsense amateur stuff. I thought it was easier, a better way to communicate these things. Apparently not. Apparently we ain't learned nothing over the years. Right? Worthy Juan says, sounds like the Julio Fulio case. I think guys get caught up in just quick communication. They think that this stuff won't get back. All of this stuff, just like with Casanova, his DMs from Instagram were used against him in his trial. So guys are communicating with each other the same way they've always done it, and they don't know. You got to change things up a little bit. We had a show called The Wire, and The Wire, they were using burners, and they got rid of the burners damn near every other day. Every week, they were switching up burners. I don't know what happened. Our generation is different, though. We understood a lot of rules. You don't go outside too flashy. You don't drive flashy cars when you're doing stuff. If you do got a flashy car, you drive it when you're clean. You don't drive flashy cars dirty. These guys do a lot of stuff backwards. I don't know where we went wrong, gang. And you don't put your crimes in texts and emails and this, that, and the third and DMs. We just moved differently back then. I don't understand. Poison Ivy, what's good? Durk isn't a good rapper according to Poison Ivy, but he's an even worse criminal. He should have stuck to rapping. Beautiful Leo became a member. I appreciate you, Beautiful Leo. And all things Tam said, all rappers still won't learn. Guys, it is a lot going on. And Exhibit Alex said, burners and beepers. That's how we moved back in the day, guys. A lot of people still got caught, but a lot of guys escaped lengthy sentences by just moving a little smarter. That's not how these guys think these days, guys. That is not how they think these days. Okay? Let me get to one more thing before I get out of here. Right? Tupac case. I believe that was day 3. I believe it was day 3 of Tupac case. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. All right. Something wild to me happened yesterday. And I want to talk about this. Keefe D is on trial for his life. He's trying to beat the case. There's a lot of stuff that came out yesterday. But this one thing is interesting. Keefe D called a witness a fucking rat under his breath in the courtroom. I can't make this up. They must have caught Keefe D on a hot mic. Right? Called him a rat. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Rest in peace, Pop. Let's get to that. Keefe D called a witness a effing rat. This is by Alexander Cole on Hot New Hip Hop. Dwayne Keefe D is on trial for murder of Tupac Shakur. Dwayne Keefe D Davis is the only suspect in the murder case. That's 30 years in the making. And the hip hop world is locked in on what the outcome is going to be. He's the only living suspect. There are 4 of them, but he's the only one living, and he told on himself. With that said, you won't get an answer for about a month, as the trial is expected to last upwards of 4 weeks. There are close to 200 witnesses that could end up on the stand. The prosecution and the defense still have a lot of work to do, and this week is just the beginning. In fact, it has been a chaotic week in court, with just a couple of days ago, a shooting occurred down the street from the Las Vegas courtroom. Meanwhile, James McDonald, aka Mob James, turned out to be a hostile witness. Guys, I didn't know Mob James hit the stand and was hostile. I might have to do a whole video on this. Interestingly, though, Keefe D wasn't so sure that McDonald was going to do what McDonald was going to do on the stand. So much so that it appears as though he called the man a effing rat under his breath as he entered the courtroom. The moment was captured on camera. Guys, you got to understand what's going on. Mob James is just as influential in this case as Keefe D. Mob James has done mad interviews as well on Vlad TV. And him and Keefe D were on opposite ends of the spectrum with this whole thing. Let me finish. Okay? Let me finish. I didn't know. I'm just reading the story. I'm learning in real time. Right? I didn't know Keefe D called Mob James a rat. The guy doing the story should have been more specific. That's extremely big news over there, Richie. What we doing? Let me this is real. Let me get this picture up here. I was just reading the story because it was homeboy was talking about the trial. All right. Come on, hot new hip hop. Come on, man. You gotta do better, man. Keefe D calling Mob James a snitch. Come on, man. These headlines gotta get better, man. It's not a man. Like, he didn't just call a random man, right? A snitch. It's a very important player. It's a very important player in the situation. Okay? Mob James has his own podcast. Right? He's very involved with this situation. And Worthy is right. These so-called OGs can't shut up. But when you call it that stand, it's something different. Okay? In the end, Mob James he was a hostile witness. Quote, I'm aware of a lot of things that was going on. People ain't talked about it in 30 years. Today ain't one of them, McDonald said. So this is James McDonald, a.k.a. Mob James. I don't want to send him to prison even though we don't like each other. This is what Mob James said about Keefe D when he was asked to speak on him on trial. During day 3 of the trial on Wednesday, the court heard audio of Keefe D telling law enforcement that Diddy had put money on the heads of Tupac and Suge Knight. Okay? And an FBI investigation ensued, but nothing came of it. Keefe D has pled not guilty in the charges against him, and he faces life in prison. So, guys, Mob James got up there, did not cooperate. I'm gonna have to do a story. I'm gonna have to dig deeper in this, man. I don't know if this is this right here is this reporting should be a lot better than this guy. I'm keeping it a buck. So I'm gonna have to dig a little deeper. I'm gonna dig a little deeper later, gang. So apparently it's chaos up there with dudes standing 10 toes, right? Mob James apparently did not give him nothing, okay, allegedly, and Keefe D called him a snitch anyway. Keefe D called him a snitch anyway. He didn't even say nothing. So this is wild. This is wild, gang. That's all I got today, gang. Listen, listen, man. It ain't much else to really say. That's the news. That's the news for the day. We dove into like the underbelly of the net today. Tomorrow we be more bright and positive. Head on over to my guys, black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you, where you heard it from, why you went there. All right. Also, I got new merch, CLBMG, myspreadshop.com. Head on over there to get the this, that, and the third merch. I got some pictures I'm gonna show you of people who bought it. I'm gonna post that later. Appreciate you. Most people buying it, they're not sending me pictures, and that's fine. I know people don't want to be posted. They just want to support the channel, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. 4 Hours Ugly Professor got a new album. It's called Addition by Subtraction. I have several verses on there. Even the intro to this show is on there. Go lock in. That's track 3. Go tap in. Listen to that album. It's pure hip hop. Hard ass bars. No sucker shit. All right. On that note, guys, I appreciate you locking in with me. Running the jewels. All right. Me Love James. Miss Hummus. Worthy One. Sims. In that replay gang, as usual. Lock in on the replay. All right. Show some love. Share the shit. All right. Okay. And let me see. Who else in here that I got to shout out before I go? Miss Hummus. Intrepid Vixen Running Jewels. Big Hack. All Things Tam Toast God. Main Toe. Okay. Marquez said he's blaming Diddy for Pac's death, although I'm not surprised that Diddy could be connected. Diddy paid the money, but the money never made it to him. All right. All Things Tam. Sister Soul, number 9. Done Deal. Obathanos. Journey. All right. Positively Pepper Jones. Done Deal. I appreciate you guys for locking in. Serenity Musings. Chris Man. Tiff. Poison Ivy. Bing. Guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end. And then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like past fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at, cause we out here.